My dear universal brothers and sisters, welcome to my speech. I wholeheartedly contemplate you all. In this particular speech, I would like to emphasize on the subject to which extent we can adopt Western culture. What is the impact of Western culture in our day-to-day life, particularly in India? Whenever we mention, whenever we talk, this is our Indian culture. Our culture is different. This is our cultural heritage we speak. That means India has a separate culture that is known as Indian culture. What we speak in Telugu is Bharatiya Sanskruti. So, India has its own culture on the whole. Maybe there are several states, different languages, different way of living, different regions and different climates in different parts of the country. But on the whole, when we talk and when we take from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, we have one culture, that is Indian culture. That is the unity in diversity, in spite and irrespective of so many languages, regions, thinking patterns. On the whole, the culture is Indian culture. As already expressed about the greatness of Indian culture and what actually is the meaning of culture, that I explained in Telugu, Sanskriti, culture, and what is its significance, how we call a particular culture, whether it is American culture or English culture, Western culture, Bharatiya culture, that is Indian culture. Every region, every language and every sort of people or every country has its own culture. That means it's the way of life, how we lead our life, how we think, how we celebrate, and how we implement certain of the things on a particular time and particular season. This is all come under a culture. In Indian culture, ours is not a recent culture. As we proudly say, India has a culture of lakhs of years, starting from Krita Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga and Kali Yuga. Maybe it might have gone several changes, because change is the law of life and variety is the spice of life. Change is unavoidable and change is a must, whether it is a positive change or whether it is a negative change. Whatever may be it is, change will always be there. Sometimes the positive change will change our attitudes, our approach, our thinking pattern and the way how we think about such things. In the same way, negative approach also. If we take the Indian culture starting from ancient time of yugas, India has been taught by hundreds and thousands of great eminent personalities and avatar purushas. That means having taken the incarnations, what we call avataras, Rama, Krishna, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Vivekananda, Shiva, Gayatri, Bala, Lalita, all these come under different avatars, different incarnations. Everybody has taught a positive life, a dharma, a system of thinking, a system of living. All these were inscribed and depicted in our Vedas, in our Shastras, Upanishads, Ramayana, Bharata, Bhagavata and the life history of many great people. So all this consists of Indian culture. It's okay. It's better to stick on to our culture and better to follow our own culture. For this, there is a sloka in Bhagavad Gita, Swadharme Nidhanam Sreya Paradharmo Bhayapaha. You have your own culture, you have your own way of living, You have your own country, your own region, your own season. Stick on to that. Live as given in that culture. This is what's so. Maybe there are different cultures, but to what extent that culture suits us, how we can adopt it, how it will be useful to us, what will be the impact of that particular culture if we go for that. Is there any need or necessity to go for any other culture? This we have to think. Under present situation of globalization, one world concept, actually speaking, because of modern technology and modern transportation facilities, the world has become so close. In spite and in respect of so many countries, so many people and so many regions, we feel we have come very close. And particularly electronic media, within no time, any incident that takes place in the nook and corner of a world will come to know everybody. With just a switch on, you can find out what is going on in that particular corner of the world. So all this has brought us very close. So the culture of one country, the culture of one region, the culture of one religion is showing its impact on other cultures. If we take that culture, the culture of Western is entirely different from Indian culture. But the basic feature of Indian culture is we apply everything to God and we treat everybody the replica of God. So Devanam Manushya Rupena, we see God in the moving humanity, in the moving animals, in the moving birds and moving creatures. So this is the basic and first culture of first point of Indian culture. And we think mostly physics in metaphysics. Everything is applied to metaphysics while doing and while living in this metaphysical physical life. Whereas in Western culture, their culture is they give importance to human only. God comes later. If we just go to church or if you just go to any shrine once in a week, that is enough. But in Indian life, every moment, every minute and every day, God is behind us, God is with us, God is within us. This is the basic difference between Western culture and Indian culture. In Indian culture, we have been taught through various books, through various epics, through various shastras and through various Vedas, how man has to live, how an individual has to live his life, how an individual has to forego certain of his things for the sake of his family, and how a family has to forego or adjust themselves to suit the needs of the society, to help the society, to maintain the society. So, in this we go for sacrifice, adjustment, whereas in Western culture, mostly you find, I mind my business, I live my life. Why should I bother? I like wearing only this dress, half open. No, in India, it won't. It think about the impact of wearing such a dress on the society, how it disturbs or it leaves the impact. In the same way, mostly vegetarian and non-vegetarian, half the people are India are vegetarians, but in Western, 95% are non-vegetarian. Alcoholism. Of course, slowly what we are doing is, what I mean to say is, they have their set of life, they have their own way of life because of the environment. If you take in America, which is 3 times bigger than India and lesser than 4 times in population, has thousands and thousands of kilometers from one end to another end, and from one part to another part you find 3 hours, 4 hours, the 4.5 hours time difference. Whereas in India, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, you find the same time. So, different atmospheres, different times, different way of thinking. Their culture is almost same in their thinking. Individual importance they give, collective importance we give here. they stick on to physical rules and regulations. But in India, nowadays, we are slowly converting and slowly being attracted towards Western life, either in living. Generally, in India, early to bed, early to rise. By 9 o'clock, you have to sleep. And by 4 o'clock, which we call Brahma Muhurta, where the ozone layer is very active and provides you good. Nowadays, slowly we are forgetting. Till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, we are observing TVs and getting by 9 o'clock and rushing to office. Before going to office, should have bath, should go to puja mandir, prayer, offer to prayers. All these we are forgetting. Bed coffee is not our culture. We have adopted that. And evening sitting, alcoholism, that has become a part of life. Once taking coffee, giving tea is a customary. Nowadays, most of the people are running for this alcoholism. This is an imported. Even wearing different dresses, ladies and gents, particularly ladies, exposism has become a part of life. That is an imported culture. To what extent we can import cultures? Everybody has their culture. Every country has their own culture. But let it, whether it will be suitable to us, whether we can adopt it or not, we have to think how it suits. What will be the impact on our life, on our children, and on our society? So, blindly and simply we cannot import, we cannot adopt any Western culture. Western culture is suitable for their Western way of living. If they have any good system, good principles, then we can adopt, we can go for it. Everybody has to think about this adaptation of cultures. Slowly we are converting ourselves towards Western culture, and now a little percentage of Western people are looking at the greatness of Indian culture. So let us think and let us maintain the balance between Western culture and Indian culture. Indian culture is age old and lakhs of years old culture, which suits to our thinking pattern, living pattern, our own nature, here our own seasons, and which will be ideal to the entire world. If there is any good thing, if it is any useful thing, then we will go for Western culture. And better to remember Swadharme Nidharan Sreya Paradharmo Bhayapaha. Let us not blindly follow the Western culture. Let us stick on to Indian culture and prove that we are Indians and this is Indian culture, age old culture and everlasting culture, we can proudly say. Thank you. Let us think about from that angle. Yours, Vyakhyana Vachaspati, Brahmasri Prabhakara Swamy. Namaste.